Hi, this is Tim of Europastar magazine at Gronefeld for 2019, the first ever automatic Gronefeld Brothers timepiece. This is the Principia Automatic, 39.5 millimeters in diameter. It's available, as you see here, in red gold, but also in white gold and stainless steel. Now, the lines of the case are just as appealing as the underlying principle of the Principia. You can see evacuated and dramatically sculpted lugs. They're evacuated on their side, and they have a wonderful concave profile on their tops. You have a concave bezel profile to visually pair the mass. It's only a 39.5 millimeter watch, so certainly not oversized. Stylized Roman numerals, including a watchmaker's 4 on the dial side. It is a cream-colored lacquer on a sterling silver base, and you can see there's a little bit of a revetment for the sub-seconds at 6 o'clock. The watch is made in the Netherlands and signed appropriately. The Gronefeld brothers, formerly of Audemars Renault Papi, have an impeccable pedigree as watchmakers, now operating on their own under their own name, releasing a series of watches with distinctive mechanical engineering as well as finishing traits. Now, turning the watch over, the dial itself is sterling silver, the case is red gold. The movement is an interesting combination. Red gold rotor with an interesting frosted and brushed as well as polished triple finish. The base plate itself is brass, and it is transfer plated to create a darkened tone that nicely matches the stainless steel bridges. So 3 different materials there. You have brass, steel, as well as gold. You can see the handsome frosted finish that the Gronefeld brothers use. This is a prototype, so not necessarily representative of final production, but what you're looking at is a 31 joule automatic winding movement with a 56-hour power reserve. The balance beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. You can see it features a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance for the ability to take and hold precision in the face of bumps, disruptions, and perhaps concussion on the wrist. It uses a Phillips overcoil hairspring to ensure concentric breathing of the hairspring in any orientation. And if you think about the difficulty of finishing stainless steel bridges, keep in mind that most watches that boast a chronometer certification only are adjusted in 5 positions. This one is adjusted to heat to cold and 6 positions. A superlative automatic and a wearable, roughly 10.5 millimeters thickness at 39.5 millimeters in diameter. This is Gronefeld at SIHH 2019, the Principia Automatic. We're actually looking back to 2016 with the Gronefeld brothers Remontoire 1941. Now, this is a timepiece 39.5 millimeters in stainless steel, also available in red, gold, and white, featuring a dial from Carré Vaudelinen's Combomine Cadran. You may note the similarity to some of the Vault Wheat series, but this dial is actually 2 materials. You can see at center it is gold with a rose-lathe guilloche cut under, and then a translucent enamel applied atop. So it's a flinke enamel center with a guilloche and galvanized outer. Solid gold at its center. You can see the activity of the dial centered on the 9 o'clock. We may as well call it a pinwheel for the Remontoire d'égalité, the constant force device that motivates this movement. Manual wind, 36 hours power reserve. What really sets it apart is the finishing on the caseback. Now, the timepiece features a dramatic series of stainless steel bridges, which is most appropriate on a stainless steel timepiece. A 21/6 beat rate, free sprung with a Phillips overcoil for concentric beating in any position. The timepiece featuring a unique frosted and polished finish atop each of the bridges. Note that the screws are black polished with chamfered slots, and perhaps the most outright Baroque finish across the ratchet wheel of the timepiece with a dramatic black polished screw, a concave and polished mirror-like center, and then a spiral dressage or graining outboard from the center. The timepiece has incredible depth as well, as you can look into this movement horizontally and see from an angle rather than simply from the top down. This is a movement that doesn't just have beauty, it has depth. You'll note that the Remontoire features action on both sides of the watch, the 8-second mechanism metering out the 36-hour power reserve so that the balance, beating away under its overcoil, always receives the same amount of energy metered in quantized 8-second bursts, so the timepiece able to maintain constant amplitude through its entire wind. This is the 1941 Remontoire, 39.5 millimeters in stainless steel at Gronefeld, SIHH 2019. We are looking at the Parallax Tourbillon. You can see the combination of a tourbillon with a single half-sided bridge and a dramatic pulsing underneath a central seconds hand, not just unique for a tourbillon. The central seconds hand also allows this watch to effectively synchronize in a way that a conventional tourbillon simply cannot. Now, the timepiece can be put in setting mode by using the push-button differential clutch to engage the setting mode, and you can see that I can adjust the time however I please, but take care to note the action of the seconds hand as it approaches the index at 12. This is where the synchronization takes place. The seconds hand stops, you set the time you wish, you can see it's being held in place. Close in on that so you can see what's going on here. Very few tourbillon watches give you the ability to synchronize to the second. This one featuring center seconds, power reserve of 3 days, an indicator for the crown clutch system, and you can see the details of the tourbillon itself, which stops to accommodate precise setting. You can also appreciate the Phillips overcoil profile. The watch, 43.5 millimeters, being one of the larger Gronefeld timepieces, featuring their signature steel bridges and dramatic double finishing, 29 jewels. This is a remarkable watch that is full-size, bold, and as you can see in this edition limited to 28 pieces. The Parallax Tourbillon being one of the most restricted production timepieces at Gronefeld. Note outboard the dramatic form of the case, the custom crown, how even small pieces like crowns and even pin buckles are all custom created, thoroughly designed, nothing a default design or engineering act at Gronefeld. This is the Parallax Tourbillon, set it to the second at Gronefeld SIHH 2019. Close view of the Parallax Tourbillon. This is Gronefeld's signature high complication. The level of detail as well as the depth of this tourbillon cannot be overemphasized. Note in particular the mirrored finish of the dial aperture that wraps circumferentially around this tourbillon. Specular finish or complete black polish on the half bridge for the balance. And then you can see a delightful kiff spring at the center. This is the Gronefeld Parallax Tourbillon at SIHH 2019.